Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday Night Groove. My name is Mike, playing a band called Dance Machine. I'm still messing around with some of the setup here so I can have music going while this is actually happening. How's everybody doing? Jeremy's saying guess that sound. Want to guess that sound, Jeremy? It's groove, since Wednesday. Gemma, how's it going? Wanda, how's it going? We'll see what's going on today. Again, Brendan had... I totally meant to... Once I realized Brendan was playing with classic albums again tonight, they played Zeppelin 3. I meant to put a post up about that because I didn't know what time it was going to be done, but they just finished like not too long ago. Mel saying from Brendan McMillan to you, great night of live streaming. Solid concert. My lovely wife and I, we caught the back half. We had to run a couple errands this evening. We caught the back half of the concert. It's sounding pretty good. Sounding pretty good. It's good to see your friends up on stage because it's been a weird year, so it's been good that way. Still getting a couple things set up here. I'm running a 2-computer setup. Not to be a computer guy, but I have like my streaming stuff on one computer, and then I'm able to kind of use my laptop as mission control, which makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, Brendan was playing with classic albums tonight, so we might see him hop into the chat and say hello. Dane had a busy day as well. Said he might be late. Also said he might not be able to make it, so we'll see. You might just be stuck with me tonight. It might just be drummer questions. Or, I guess, drummer jokes. Hopefully not jokes. Jeremy's saying B is unbelievable. Brendan is a solid bass player. I will definitely agree with that. Just going through the chat here for a second. We'll get on to some talking points in a minute here. Just want to make sure everyone's all warmed up here. How is the voice to lounge music? It's actually harder than I thought it was going to be to find a proper station that wasn't like wasn't too jazz, if that makes sense. Sometimes jazz is too jazz. There's some killer funk stations on here as well. But like it was distracting because I probably would just be listening to the funk the whole time. Patterson saying, what is going on in a machine that is tense? The usual. We're enjoying some live streaming and hanging out with our friends online. We've got some things. I don't want to say the things in the works because that's too vague. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And a couple things. We had a pretty good meeting at the beginning of the week as far as with some plans for the fall, and keeping our fingers crossed that the borders open by the new year. There's a couple things that are rolling around right now. That would be good, but there's just so many things that are up in the air because if the border's not open, bands from Canada have a bit of a tricky time going and touring in the States at all. So fingers crossed they can get some stuff together. I mean health. If we can get our health together so that we can actually get doing some touring, get shows back. Jeremy's saying, I'm game for drummer question and answer. Hit me if you got questions. Just hit me with them. One thing I wanted to bring up with Brendan playing with classic albums live. They're starting a string of drive-in shows. Because we know we had that Metallica drive-in concert, I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago. And there's been a few other drive-in concerts that have been happening in and around Toronto. So, with classic albums doing some more drive-in shows, I got thinking, how many people would go to drive-in shows that are basically tours? Like, think about it for a second. Because there's some pretty large, especially like festival grounds and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not gonna be the same as like 20,000 people there, but if they can put 3,000 people in cars there, you could probably have some pretty fun concerts outdoors in the summer. So kind of got got rolling around up here today. I got thinking about that. I was like, no, it could be kind of fun. So fingers crossed that could be a thing. While we're here too, Regan Thorne is in the chat. Just want to give a quick shout out to Regan. He's got 10th Machine in his Rock Coalition playlist on Spotify. Check it out. We'll put a link to it after this, and I'll put a link to it tomorrow as well. There's lots of, I would say, independent bands on there. Solid music. So do you ever want a favor? Listen through. Much appreciated. Might find some new bands that you fall in love with. I find all my new bands on playlists. So Regan, thank you for that. Thanks for the feature. We got tomorrow and Friday. So I think we got the prime spot. We got the first parking spot right beside the door. Zach Cooper, how's it going? No, night's going pretty good. Actually, speaking of, I saw there's a note down. Dusty says the smoke's rolling. The sun, like where we are, we're kind of up on a hill here, just northern part of Toronto. And we went outside this evening around 7, and like the sun was this crazy, like really vibrant orange. And it's just like we're not used to seeing that. Like and I guess it's because of the smoke that's been coming through Ontario. It's affecting how the sun looks when it's setting and stuff. But it's like cool, and then it's like sad at the same time, because like it looks neat, but everything is on fire right now. So like that's not ideal. So we got Austin Tyler Williams here, aka ATW. It's a just became level 2 Xbox ambassador today. Congratulations, ATW. You've been putting your work in as a gamer. I need to check out your stream sometime. Dusty, back to Dusty. She's saying the smoke's rolling in. How are things where you are? If you want to tell it, I don't know if you want to tell people where you are, but it just, I had a friend today who's in LA, and he was texting me, and he just like, because he went from like protests and riots straight into like everything being on fire from the forest fires and stuff like that. It's just wild on the West Coast right now. Dale, how's it going? Kelly, how's it going? Kelly's, you need a badge. Kelly joins on the on my gaming live streams Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. Consistently showing up. Patterson as well, very consistent in showing up to these live streams. Patterson's asking, is Hey Lang for an Xbox ambassador? No, because I just switched from an Xbox 360 to an Xbox One, and I don't play online, and I'm not competitive. And no one's going to give me an endorsement to do what I do when I'm playing video games. Just saying. I play them for me and me alone. Oh, Dusty was making fun of me as his drummer jokes. She's saying you said that you were thinking, so smoke was rolling. Maybe that's a saying where you are. That's not a saying here. It's not a saying in Canada. Jeremy is saying, looking at the fire maps, how come the fire ends at the Canadian border? Do you have fire retardant trees? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I'm trying to come up with something funny, but maybe it's all the snow. Because it's Canada. Dusty says it is here in Colorado. I'm still not getting that joke, but that's okay. That's okay. Johnny Oak is in here. He's watching from YouTube. Again, we're streaming on StreamYard, so it's Facebook and YouTube. That being said, with some of the content, some of the concerns over live streaming on YouTube with some of the music and stuff, it kind of sounds like Facebook really backtracked on what they're originally saying. I know some people are saying like, oh, people are reading into it too much and this and that, and like the what's it called? I'm getting distracted by the jet. The idea of the music element on Facebook and what the old guidelines were, it sounded like they were backtracking on like, oh, we've always had this here. It just wasn't, you know, we weren't enforcing it that much. But like people were getting flagged all the time with the last guidelines as well. But they weren't deleting accounts. I think that was the one thing that was freaking a lot of bands. That was the idea that Facebook might shut your account down. Because imagine if you've got 60,000, you know, fans on there, and all of a sudden they just shut it down. So Jackie Healy's here. How's it going, Jackie? It's been forever. It's been forever. Just need to check something. I heard that the that Facebook stream has closed. I'm still on here, so I'm not sure. Are we? We're still on Facebook. No, it still says we're here. It's tough sometimes. I get messages from people that things aren't working, and I go and look, and then it is working. So that I don't know. All right, now I got confirmation. I see someone is using the 10th machine account. It's either Dane or Brendan. If it's, I'm imagining it's Dane. Yes, it's Dane, because Dane doesn't use his laptop, he uses his phone. So I don't know how to get out of the band account when you're on your phone. When you're on your laptop, you just go and click it and switch your user. And that's how you do that, if you use your laptop. It's gonna be, this is a lot of chat. It's a lot of chat tonight. I don't have a problem with that though. That's good. All right, no, everyone says it's fine on Facebook, and yeah, I got YouTube beside me here, and it seems to be running still. So we got Dane here. I don't know if Dane's gonna make a camera appearance. He had a long day. I said, just hop in the chat. Much appreciated. Answer some questions. Maybe Dane's got some questions for me. Maybe Dane could just interview me, because he knows all the details. I like how the chat right now is people saying it's fine on Facebook, people talking about the new Xboxes coming out, and then people talking about the fires in California. It's quite the mix right now. Jeremy's saying whenever does B chime in with a, that is true. Brendan would probably chime in with, hey, it's Brendan. It's pretty direct sometimes. So yes, back to the original thing. In the chat, would you go see a decent sized concert on festival grounds if it's a drive-in show? Would you go? So say usually they would have 20,000 people there. Say for the drive-in show they've only got 3,000 people there. Would you feel comfortable enough going to something like that? So I think they could do it. Dane is asking, what is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you on stage or in the studio? On stage, I don't want to say this is a rockstar moment, but I was playing with Age of Days. It was like, when I write the book, it's going to be like a chapter, well, several chapters in itself. The trip out to Calgary to play. We played a benefit concert for like during Stampede, and I played at a place called Cowboys. And during that show, someone took their bra off and threw it at Brent, and then Brent like kicked it over to where my drums were, and like, I don't know how to explain it other than like the cup size was gigantic, and I was kind of laughing because I'm just like, where did that come from? because I think they need it back, judging by the cup size of the bra. And the gesture was appreciated, but at the same time, it was one of those like ideas where either maybe someone's inebriated enough where they don't realize that it wasn't a bad idea. But I'm pretty sure like soon after, like when they're walking, they'd be like, something's not right here. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was just funny because like I get distracted on stage very easily, believe it or not. You can like anything can kind of be going on, and I'll get a little distracted by it. But yeah, when that I don't even know. I don't want to sound like someone who can identify cup sizes, but it was well beyond what I think a normal cup size is. So that was one of the funnier things. Another one that's like always there too. So Frank from FM Management, I always joke whenever Frank is there, something happens to my drums. So I always joke with it because like the first time there's a couple hiccups with actual like physical pieces of my drums, and the second time we were there, we were setting up. We were just about to play, and actually Jeremy can appreciate this story a little bit. We're setting up to play. We're in Joliet. We're playing. What's it called? The Forge, and we're setting up. And when you're a drummer and you're playing right-handed and standard or traditional, whatever you want to call it, your right foot is on the kick drum and your left foot is on the hi-hat. And like you're keeping a lot of beat with the kick drum, but you're keeping time with your left foot. Like watch drummers, that hi-hat when they're playing, it's usually always going. If they're not actually hitting it, it's usually going by itself because they're using their left foot to control it. And I'm setting up and get my hi-hats all set up, and I step on it and step on it again, and there's a chain at the bottom and it snaps. And I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. Cause like you need that. Like it's really not good to try to play through. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like if you're a guitar player, it would be like, okay, and my strap broke, so now I have to hold my guitar the entire time we're playing, and I can't sit down and like do, like it's just your balance is really off with drums when your left foot's not right. When your left foot's not able to perform properly, we'll use that terminology for it. So I've got a fix-it bag. The guys, I don't know, they might laugh at it. I've got this little case. They call it the fix-it bag, and I've got like zip ties and tape and twist ties and just stuff in there. Just if something's gonna go wrong on stage, it's like I think I've got it in that bag. So like cables, just things. So if anything's happening, just go with fix it bag. There's tools in there. So I go in there and I'm looking at like we're setting up. We have like 5 minutes, and I have other things I need to do. But my hi-hat is broken. And I'm really not sure how I can really play this show without looking like a big dork up there with some bad left foot technique. And so I go in the bag, I grab these zip ties and stuff, and I'm like on the ground. People are moving gear around, and I'm supposed to be setting up more stuff, and the guys are like bringing things, and I'm just like, I've got to deal with this right now. And I'm trying to like feed zip ties up through and around, like, because there's the footboard part, and there's like a little post, and there's a chain, and I'm trying to like figure out how to I just need it to do this. I just need it to do this while I'm playing, and that's it. And Jeremy's saying I had the chain snap. I had grabbed my bag and had a mini screwdriver and put it through the chain and gaff taped it. Where that's all you can do sometimes. So I've got zip ties. I'm trying to just hold it together one way or another, and I've got it. And then I put zip ties on it, and I snipped them off, and then I taped it up, and I'm like, okay, this will be this. I just gotta baby this, just to get through the show. I'll just, like 80% of my body can do the rock show, and then left foot will just be gentle. Just a soft shoe on that. Show starts. Start playing. Adrenaline kicks in. I think it lasted about half a song. Because you think it's okay, and then it's not okay. And then I was laughing because I'm like, every time Frank's here, there's always a problem with my drum kit. So it wasn't a huge deal. It was funny to me. There's definitely things on stage that are funny to other people. Yeah, that was one of them, because you're just trying to make the best of something, and it's like you want to play well. Every time you're on stage, you want to play well, and when your gear's not working, talking about funny things on stage, when we were talking on Sunday, Dane was telling the robot guitar story. That was another thing. Didn't happen to me, but I definitely got a kick out of that one. That was pretty good. I'm trying to think of funny things in the studio. I almost want to say like there's not a lot of funny things that happen in the studio with me, because it's usually all work. It's all business. Just trying to think. Dane, if you're in the chat, what's your funny studio story? I gave you a second. Put something together. Back to talk about the drive-in concerts, 'cause I think that could be a thing next year, just based on what's going on right now. Because like that could be a for sure thing. Like even if we get indoor concerts back, like it could be pretty fun. It could be pretty fun with some of those festival grounds to have some bands through and just have a good old time outside. Liz, how's it going? Dane is asking, anyone ever rip one really bad in the studio? I know the answer is yes, but I can't think specifically about that. I know, like, when I was at Pocket, there was times, like at Pocket Studios here in Toronto, there were definitely times clients would bring food in, and anyone that's ever worked in an office knows that there are certain things that do not go in the office kitchen microwave, and like fish being one of those. And there was times when some bands would, like, I want to say they would grind your gears a little bit, but some of them would take the romantic element of recording a little too much, and they make themselves a little too much at home. And yeah, there's definitely times where bands would put stuff in the microwave, and there's like other tenants and stuff at Pocket as well, like other producers and mixers, and people would come out and be like, what happened? Like, what happened in here? So that was one of them too. But as far as like, you know, the term that was used, rip one really bad, because there's, I'm just gonna come out and say it. When it comes to bands, there's two kinds of farters. There's the silent ones, and then there's like the comical ones that like they'll have like actions for it, like they'll lift a leg, or they'll, like, my personal favorite is like the truck horn one. That's a good one. But yeah, some of the ones that are silent, where people just think they can get away with it, and then the worst is when they just start laughing after. I can think of one person in particular that was really bad at that, and also like he had a really bad poker face. So like you'd start to like, I don't say you'd start to smell something, but like you'd start to feel a difference in the air quality. Like you wouldn't smell it first, I think it's like a taste thing, and like your lungs would pick it up. Your lungs would pick it up first, and then like everything else would be like, there's something going on. But yeah, this one guy in particular, like he'd start like he'd have that face of like waiting for someone to notice, and then someone would say something, and then he'd start to giggle, and then it's like, and then everyone's just sitting in badness. It's like, imagine being in a small pool and someone's like, did someone pee in the pool, and then someone be giggling, and you'd be like, why did you do that? Because now we're all sitting in your pee pool. This isn't good at all. This isn't good at all. Dusty's asking, why are we having this conversation? Because it's Dane. Dane is interviewing me right now. These are quality questions from Dane Hartzell. So yeah, that's a definite yes. Like anyone that's worked in a studio has experienced someone ripping one really bad. I just want to put that up on the, just for context. I wish you weren't stuck in the page, Dane. I wish they had your face on there. Jeremy, of course, Dane, last November in a badass studio picked it up on the overheads on the... That's another good one, too. Because there are some drummers that think it's pretty funny when they let one rip, when they're, like, waiting to track or they're waiting for something, and then you hear that through the speakers. It's always good. I'm getting questions here. Check the YouTube feed. It's working on my end, so I am not sure. I'm not sure what to tell you. I can only check so many technical things when we're actually streaming. It's like someone being like, hey, can you check the tire pressure when you're driving? Kim is saying, why do I feel like you're talking about... No, Dane's not the one I was talking about as far as Mr. Giggles after he let a silent one go. No, I know who it is, and I'm not saying if he was in this chat I would call him out, but he knows who he is. If he was to ask me, were you talking about me, I would say yes. Yes, I was talking about you. But he's got a really, really... The times I work with that band, they're super good when it comes to like lunch and dinner choices for like, not say restaurants, but for like delivery and stuff like that. That's one of the things with that band. They are on point when it comes to getting food situations sorted out. Wanda's saying, rather hear about Dane giving away his smelly, sweaty hats. Oh, that's... Dane, can I tell that story? Can I tell the smelly hat story? Dane's asking, what's a perfect studio food? Personally, I love chicken roti. That's like... I never ever get that, so when bands want that, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. That's good. What else is good? I usually bring food with me anyways, so it's like, sometimes it's not a big deal. Like, I'll just have snacks all day, but this band in particular, they knew where to go to get stuff. And they would, like, drive. Like, whoever wasn't recording would, like, drive 40 minutes to go get wicked food and bring it back for everybody. Patterson's saying, I hope you can get YouTube figured out before the switch. It's working on my end, so it might be a your end problem. So I'm looking at it right now. In fact, hey, this is working. Smiley face. Now, it is tricky with the multiple sources that we're streaming to sometimes to see if it's working or not, but again, there's a lot of things. Dane's at, yes, perfect. Like chicken roti is my favorite. Things that pizza's good too. As much as like we had the pizza talk last time, that is a good studio food because it's easy, and also even though it's greasy, or it can be greasy, it's easy to like keep it together. And especially when pizza cools down, there's less chance of pizza doing pizza-y things to like gear or stuff, or someone dropping it on the couch or on the floor or on the rug or something like that. So that's my message on YouTube right now. It shows up. Dane's saying yes, I can tell the smelly hat story. Dane, do you remember where it was? So Dane's obviously got his hat selection he brings on tour, and you know, we have to kind of, because touring is expensive and it's difficult, it's hard to get proper dry cleaning for Dane's hats. So sometimes they get a little roaded, if that's the way to put it. They get road worn a little bit. I can't remember what show it was, but like all of us could smell Dane's hat. I want to say it was Fort Wayne, but I think we could all smell Dane's hat. And then I started laughing because I'm like, Dane can smell Dane's hat because Dane's hat's on his head. So like, that's gotta be pretty bad. So I think there's some hats that were like full on abandoned. I know a couple were gifted over the years, but there's some that were just left behind. They'd run their course, something like that. But I remember that show in particular. Yeah, it's not too long of a story, but I just remember being like, "What does that smell?" And just being like, "That smells like Dane's hat, but like it's everywhere. Like everywhere is Dane's hat right now." And then Dane is saying it was terrible. Okay, assuming that meant terrible, not terrible. It's not French or anything. But yeah, I was laughing because I'm like, that smells really bad, and that's on Dane's head right now. And even if your sense of smell was terrible, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, and that's true. People like Dane can definitely have some perspiration going while he's playing, but that wasn't sweat that night. That was probably tears. Like half of it was from the hat, and probably the other half of it was the sadness of realizing that he has to wear this hat for another half an hour. It's not good. Dane is saying no. That's what it is. When something is worse than terrible, it's just terrible. So terrible. Yeah, that was pretty funny. There's just funny things that happen on stage once in a while. I know it really bothers Brendan, but like everyone has hiccups on stage, especially with gear. And there's been a couple times when Brendan's bass has gone out, and it's like it could be the battery in your bass, it could be your cable, it could be your actual like bass amp, it could be the power. There's all these things. And it's funny with Brendan because like Brendan's played so many gigs where like he's so chill and calm when like everything can be on fire on his side of the stage, and he'll just start troubleshooting. And also like he's a pretty good tech, so he can quickly run around and like figure out what's going on, and then he just starts playing again and everything's fine. So I am curious though, because he's got that backbeat thing. He's got this little device that vibrates that sits on the back of his strap now, and I'm wondering if he won't notice sometimes if something happens to his amp and that thing's still vibrating and still like makes everything feel awesome and stuff. So I'm always curious about these things. Brendan's pro though. He'll notice. He'll notice. Dane is saying my nose broke for days after that. It was rank. It was up there. It's pretty smelly. Pretty smelly. In the chat, what's the first band, and again, present company excluded. In the chat, what's the first band you want to see live in concert once things are going again? There's two concerts. I know we keep talking about concerts like they're never gonna come back. They are coming back. Rage Against the Machine excluded. I was really looking forward to Primus, their tour this summer, doing what's it called? It's one of the Rush albums. I'll tip my tongue right now. But yeah, they're gonna cover a Rush album in Toronto, and I was thinking like they're gonna bring Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee out if they're playing in Toronto. I was really excited about that. But of course, it got postponed to next year, so. Katie's saying, BB, I'm imagining that is Breaking Benjamin. I'd love to go and tour with those guys. We kind of have an in. Kind of have an in with them. Actually, we kind of have two ins with that camp. So, I am hoping that could be one of those things. Dane is saying we'd love to see U2. Dane and I were bonding over the band U2 a couple weeks ago. We're both big Edge fans. I'm also Adam Clayton fan, the bass player for U2. He's awesome. Jeremy's saying, I had Dane's XLR for guitar cab go out at the Apollo second to last song. Reed knocking over my overhead on Mike's hi-hat and Madison that sounded horrendous through front of house. Good times. Yeah, there's those, again, the thing with live, it's like you can totally have everything ready to go and in good shape, and then the first song, everything can be all screwed up. So one of the big things, because Reed was always up on my kick drum, and they would put like a kick drum on a mic stand in front of it, and I would tell them like, just a heads up, like really get it in there because it's gonna move. You might kick it, I might move it. He might jump off my kick drum, and it might move. Just make sure that kick drum mic is in there, and we're good. If it's just kind of outside the hole, we're gonna probably have some issues. So I ended up getting, I think it's called Kelly's Shoe system. So there's like a kick drum mic that's mounted inside my kick drum, so that we didn't need to use a mic stand anymore. It was just that I have a kick drum that's permanently in there, and you just run a cable out and plug it in, and we're all good. And that saved a lot of problems, but it was fun with some front of house people running the sound at the shows, because they would like insist on using their stand and their microphone and stuff like that. I'm like, I totally understand you want to use the things that make you feel comfortable. I'm not telling you how to do your job. I'm just giving you the heads up of some logistics. And that kick drum mic might not be where you want it to be in about 8 seconds into the show. So, because these are things I never worry about when we're recording. Like, you're miking up drums and, you know, amps and stuff. It's like no one's like moving things around, but in live, like, things can move so quickly. Dane's saying so many great tunes. Yeah, no, with you too. Just tons of great tunes. Lee Walker Cole saying Parabel. It's funny. I have some experience with Parabel. I saw Kevin's post. He's saying that it was the longest time they've gone without playing shows, and it's like, because even though like Kev's Canadian, like, yeah, they're more of a Texas band, and yeah, it's interesting. It's funny, because with Parabel and Evans Blue, I saw Evans Blue at, because I think it started with them in 2005. I saw them once at the Horseshoe in Toronto here, and I saw them at, I think it was Edgefest at the amphitheater, now Budweiser stage. And it's like, those are the only 2 times I've seen that band, and I worked on 2 EB records, and I think at this point like 7 Parabel records, and I've never seen Parabel live. So, you and me both, Lee. You and me both. Just reading here. Jeremy saying Kelly's Shoe is a lifesaver. Yeah, again, there's like a little horseshoe thing, and then the microphone goes on it, and then there's like this spider array of straps that hold it in the middle of your kick drum. Oh, it's awesome. It's so good. So good. Lauren is saying, I was really looking forward to seeing Parkway Drive. They're supposed to have their full production, including pyro, for the first time in the US. That sounds awesome. Pyro is awesome. Pyro's pretty good. That was a funny thing too. When AJ Days played on the Disturbed tour, and they kind of mentioned they were trying some stuff that they hadn't tried before. So I guess they were testing it out on the Canadian market. But like, one of the things was like the Wall of Fire on that tour. And I remember the first time we saw, I remember being with Tim, singer from AJ Days, and both of us were just like, what is going on? Because like, when they lit the whole back of the stage on fire, and everything was on fire, and we're just like, this looks like it's controlled, but if it's not, where are the exits? It was pretty on fire. Pretty on fire. Patterson saying, when is Tense gonna be touring with 3 Days Grace? No idea on that, but that being said, it actually does bring up a good point, because like, cases are down pretty low in Canada. They're starting to creep up a little bit because they're opening a few more things up, but I'm curious to see if any bands kind of make their way up to Canada, and again, like, 3 Days being Canadian, see if they go do some shows across Canada, or, you know, play some venues where, because like, they're a rock band, like, they don't need crazy high, not say crazy high production, but like, they don't need to go overboard with some of the production, which is going to get the production costs up. Like seeing Slipknot last year. I'm not sure I want to see Slipknot just show up with their gear and play their songs. Like, after seeing them with their full stage, like, video screens and craziness and like visuals, that's kind of, that works for them. Foo Fighters, another one. It's like, they can probably, because they were supposed to do a van tour this year, that was kind of their thing. I could see them getting in the van and going and playing, you know, sort of thing. Nickelback could probably do the same thing. They'd probably do some lower production shows and to keep the cost down. It'd be awesome. So I'm curious to see what bands might end up going out in October, November across Canada, because it could be safe enough, and there's definitely venues that are open to grab those. So same with Saint Estonia, because like I think, because Sal the last new drummer, like he got back to Stains doing some stuff, or they were supposed to. So Saint Estonia got another drummer that's more local, and like Kale, the bass player, he also plays in Art of Dying. He's playing with Saint Estonia too, so it's like that band could be going out. Big Rex going out playing some shows. So there's definitely some Canadian stuff here. So that being said, it's not like we have not put the bug in the ear of our agent and management to see what's going on here. So Cindy, how's it going? Missed you yesterday on the gaming live stream. It's okay, that was fun. Dane's asking, why is it that when we reference anything bass, we play air bass as if no one knows what the bass is? I do it all because it feels good. It feels good when you're talking about bass and you can just, you know, go along with it. I'll admit, whenever I'm talking about guitar, like mentally, I'm doing sweep picking. Metal, so. Patterson's asking, what about Art of Dying? I'm not sure what's up with Art of Dying right now, because Tavis is pretty... Well, he's been busy with Adelita's Way. And he lives in Vegas, so... There you go. Wanda's saying Buck Cherry and Adelita's Way are playing October 17th in Iowa. It stings a little bit when we see like shows in the States going on, because they're just like, because parties, it's like, I don't know if it should be going on yet, but at the same time, like, it's making people happy, and it looks like some people are trying to do some distancing at shows. Not seeing masks at the shows straight up, but you know, it is lost my train of thought reading the comments here. Cindy's asking, on for a bit. I'll probably on for another 20 minutes. Hours good hanging out. People get on with their evenings. Jim is saying, when the pandemic ends, would be positive tour between Tenth Machine and Diamante. That would be good. I think we got an in with the Diamante camp as well. It'd be Tenth Machine, Diamante, Breaking Benjamin. How about that? Would you like to see that? I like to see that. If anyone's wondering what those sounds are, it's my work chair. People think it's like an animal. Okay, drummer questions. Anyone more drummer questions? Patterson's saying Jeremy's got the trailer loaded for 10th. We love having Jeremy out. Jeremy makes everything just easier at shows. He knows how to make us sound good, and he's a fun dude to have out. He's got good gear. It's just nice, because that's the thing. Even with Dead Set, like, we had no crew, and then when we got Jeremy to, like, because Jeremy would come do some of the better shows. Jeremy would show up to help us out with those, and it was just nice having somebody else there that kind of knew what was going on and could take care of stuff. And yeah, it's just excellent. Can't thank you enough, Jeremy. We miss you. Okay, Patterson, you're just rhyming off everybody. Bow Wolves, Motley Crue. Any of those bands. Go with that. I'm trying to think of bands that, like, we wouldn't go out with. Mainly because, like, their fans would be like, what is this? What is this? And not heavy enough. I wouldn't go with Hatebreed. I'd be like, this isn't good. I wouldn't go with Slayer, but they're done now. Which is good. I'd say no to those two bands. Dane is asking, would you ever use 2 kick drums? If we were at a stage in our career where I didn't have to set up anything or tear anything down, I would consider it just because it's funny. But like, I will probably keep my drum setup until the end of everything, because I like that setup. I'm like, I don't want to say I was a big Rage Against the Machine fan, but like I always thought the way that drum setup was, with just basic one rack tom, one four tom, two crashes, ride some, like just super simple, and just play that. So even if we're at a point where we've got a bigger stage setup and we've got a big riser for drums, and I want to have the giant riser with the small drum kit on it, not compensating for anything up there. So Dane, you asked your question. Would I ever use 2 kick drums? 99% no. But if we ever get to like Spinal Tap levels of success, I'll probably have 2 or 3 kick drums. And it'll say like tense on one kick drum and then match on another one and then een on the other one. Because I'll laugh at that. There's a lot of things I do in life where I'm like, I find amusement in this, so I'm doing this, and everyone's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, dude, it's funny to me. You gotta laugh a little. Gotta laugh a little sometimes. Jeremy's saying, I will tech a double kit for you on the road. I'm putting this up here. I have this in writing now. And that could be a thing. You could be front of house, and when you want to like, pull back to the job description a little bit, you could just drum tech for me. And you'd be like, it's probably the easiest 7 minutes of the day. Putting your 4-piece drum kit on the stage. All right, we got 13 minutes left. 13 minutes left. You got any more drum questions or band questions or the first concert you want to see back once we get concerts going again? Devin, how's it going? How you feeling, Devin? Oh, here's a good question. Michelle's asking, what's your favorite song to jam out to on the drums? I have to double check. And actually, this ties in really well with Brendan playing classic albums live. Zeppelin tonight. Anyone want to guess? It is a Zeppelin tune, one of my favorite songs on like my practicing playlist. In the comments. Favorite song to jam out to on the drums. It's a Zeppelin tune. Any guesses? ATW is asking, what do you think of my stream? I haven't seen your stream yet. I need to check it out. That is on the to-do list. Patterson saying his first concert you want to see back is Dead Set, Tense Machine, and 3 Days Grace. That would be very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Dane saying Stairway. It is not Stairway. Again, the question is, my favorite song to jam out to. It's a Zeppelin song. Try to guess what it is. If you guess this, I'll send you something in the then you win something. I'll figure a prize. I'm just gonna leave that up. It's not Moby Dick. It is not Stairway to Heaven. In the meantime, Jeremy's asking, on tour, what backup gear do you carry on stage? Actually carry on stage, the only backup gear I carry is an extra snare drum. Because if you break your snare drum, you are way up the creek if you don't have a replacement for that. And we've played with bands where they've had issues, and like they break their snare drum or something like that, and like they don't have a backup. So like I've got mine there, which is fine, so they can just use that. But like that is one thing that I try to have within reach when we're on stage, especially if we have, because with some of the support slots, like you might have 25 minutes and you're trying to rip through 5 songs or 6 songs, and you have no time if there's a hiccup somewhere. So like if my snare was to break, I can just go and get it. That being said, the first time, it's funny, like I knew of the My Darkest Days camp forever, and finally played a couple shows with them when I was playing with the Age of Days, and like the first show we played with them, I broke my snare drum, and had to grab my backup, and I realized how bad my backup sounded because I never tuned it. I basically, it was, if I was to show my backup snare drum to somebody, like that is a snare drum. But if I was to hit it, they'd be like, wow, that sounds like garbage. Like that doesn't even sound like good garbage. It sounds like bad smelly garbage. It sounds like if, sorry Dane, it sounds like if Dane's smelly hat at its smelliest had some like drum skins on it, and then you didn't even tune it. So it just sounded bad and smelly. But I learned my lesson that night. I'm like, I gotta actually take care of my backup gear. But yeah, to answer Jeremy's question, like that's the only piece of like backup gear that I have on the stage with me. I did carry a second hi-hat for a while because I was afraid. The replacement I got, I still have it. It was like $60. I grabbed it at a Guitar Center because I needed something. All right, some more guesses here. So the question was favorite song to jam out to. The hint was it is a Zeppelin song, which ties into Brendan playing classic albums live. So that's Zeppelin 3. Although I don't think it's on Zeppelin 3. I actually don't know what album it's on. Rain Song, nope. Rock and Roll, nope. Whole Lot of Love, nope. Days Confused, nope. Kashmir, nope. Good Times, Bad Times, nope. I'm gonna try to actually find the this is how hardcore this is gonna be right now. YouTube knows right now. It knows what I'm looking for. Because there's so much awesome in this video. There's just so much greatness in this video that... Let's see what happens when I put this in the chat. Jones is here. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Mike Jones. How is the smoke situation out there where you are? Kate's saying, since I've been loving you. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to just jam this into the thread and see what happens. Black Dog, nope. I don't think anyone's going to guess it. Let's see what happens. Okay, it does not like me jamming that into the thread. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because I don't want to, no, I don't know how to spell the first part. Dane's saying, oh, you said dazed and confused. I thought you said Dane's confused. And I was like, always. No. No, the song... The song is Achilles' Last Stand. I put the YouTube link in there if anyone wants to check that out later. Or have that as background music. Along with the lounge music right now. But, like, the thing about there's like, not to go over all the things here, but, like, Jimmy Page's pants right out of the gate. Super high. The belt, shirt tucked in. He's sweating buckets in that video. He is a sweaty individual. And he looks like he's pretty lanky looking. And, like, the clothes are all... Like, there's so much going on with just... I'm just scrolling through some of it right now. There's so much going on with the wardrobe alone. Guitar slung perfectly. He's playing from the hip. And then there's that... what's it called? What is the name of the guitar effect? I guess I do have some brain fog today. But the effect he's got on his guitar too, like that also gets me. Where I'm just like, that sounds awesome. There's few times with guitar stuff where I'm like, I need to learn how to play that because like I forgot how to play it, but I need to learn how to play that because it's cool, and that's kind of how my mind works with music. It's like when I like how something sounds, it's like I kind of want to learn how that sounds. If anyone knows the intro riff for Ventura Highway, I learned that when one of the records I was working on, I had to learn. Like I showed up and like had to learn how to play that because it was stuck in my head, and I annoyed the artist that I was working with for the rest of the record because I kept playing that and then actually slipped that into one of the songs on the record. In a way. But yeah, no, Achilles' Last Stand, for playing drums, it's like 10 minutes long, and it's awesome, and the tempo's good, and you can just rip over that whole song. It's awesome. That song to me, it's like, I know if I'm in shape or out of shape by playing that song. Dane's saying, it sounds like George Costanza's answering machine in the background. It works. It's keeping a vibe. Went in that groove. You came up with it, Dane. That was a you thing. I'm giving you full credit for that. Kelly's saying, like Ventura Highway. It's a good tune. It was in Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm pretty sure it was in Grand Theft Auto 4. Or San Andreas. Because they had a couple like America songs in there, and it was pretty awesome. K-Stan, I thought it was elevator music. No, it's just YouTube. Again, I'm partially like testing the stream to see if it picks this up and if it mutes things. Hopefully it doesn't just like shut my account down. Shut everything down. So yes, to answer your question, Michelle, that is my favorite song to jam out to on drums. It's just fun. Jeremy's saying, I concur, Mike. You can rip that song up with that tempo. It's like perfect. It's a perfect, like, just gonna rip on that song. So. I'm trying to think of, like, something more modern. There's a band called Royale. I think they had to change the name to Royale, the band. But their record's called As Long as the Money Lasted. And I think they re-released it for some weird reason. Because the mixes changed. I did notice that. But that record too, my lovely wife's ever hearing me practice, it's a good chunk of that is me just ripping over like the first 3 songs on that record. Great rock record. I think they're from the Chicago area too. Jones is asking, was that the lounge music from the Strip Joint and Duke Nukem 3D? No, I don't think so. Jones, do you play games anymore? Did you ever play Duke Nukem Forever? Actually, Jones, to one of the video game memories is when we like pulled an all-nighter to finish Halo. And then I think we tried to like pull an all-nighter to finish Halo 2, and we realized it was a horrible idea. We're just way too tired. I think it was that. It was either that. No, sorry. It was either that or it was what's the other one? My brain is just not working today. Or it was Gears of War. It's one. It might have been Gears of War. Jones doesn't have a little time. Yeah, Jones has got a pretty good knife and tool business going. Endorsed, I would say, by Joe Rogan. Like you could, like Jones, you could probably legit ask Joe Rogan about his like $10 million or $100 million or whatever he got from Spotify, and be like, "What's that feel like?" For someone to be like, "I'll give you this for, $10 million or $100 million, whatever it was, a lot of money." Oh, St. Joe's were the days you already played games. We watched Sun come up over Angel 94 one. Oh, it's just video games are good. They are good. I like carve out a little bit of time on Tuesdays and Thursdays to do some gaming and to hang out and chat with people. Patterson's saying, isn't Halo like Call of Duty? It is, but it's a different era. This was like 20 some odd years ago. Only other game that I've like sat down and played through in one sitting was God of War on PlayStation 2. My older brother was like, you need to play this. And I sat in the chair and played it. And I was done at like, I think I sat down at like 10 or 11 in the morning and played it straight through to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, this was awesome. Jones is saying how Joe doesn't respond to those kind of questions. You could though. You never know. You don't know unless you ask. You probably appreciate it you trying to ask. If you have any people that are big into quality, high quality, unique knives, Mike Jones is the person to talk to about that. I think I named one of your knives too, or it had something to do with it, or like put an idea in that got to the end. Patterson Robles. No, the band's called Royal the Band. And yeah, the record's called As Long as the Money Lasted. That's like that and Gojira's Magma. Like those two records, like the first time I heard them, like these are awesome records. Awesome, awesome, awesome rock records. This has turned into video game chat. It's like, okay, people need to follow my gaming channel. I'm there Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8 or 9 till 10 or 11. You can come in and we can chat about games. Oh, Jones saying, yeah, you named Mr. Slice Guy. It's got a knife called Mr. Slice Guy. This is what happens. This is how the internet gets like stuff that called like Bodie McBoatface. This is how a dog gets elected mayor of a town. You leave it to the internet. The internet tells you. All right, I think we lost Dane. I think Dane's just peaced out. And Cindy's back. Cindy, we're just about to wrap this up. I'm trying to decide what to do with the rest of the evening now, because I got some work to do, but you know when you have work to do and you're like, I'm not gonna finish this. Like, I'm not gonna finish it tonight, but I can finish it tomorrow morning. So, just trying to think. Nope, Dane's still there. No, it's been good chatting. I appreciate everyone stopping by today. And I don't have any cool bass stuff to show anybody, or cool guitar stuff to show anybody. It's too late to play drums. Now I want to play drums because I just got that Achilles Last Stand video sitting in my tabs right now. It's painful. Dane, you got anything special lined up for Sunday? Dane's just vibing out to lounge music. It's high production value around here. Oh, Patterson actually said something that hockey for the rest of the evening. I don't think I'll hop on the gaming. I want to and I don't want to at the same time. Because then it'll be like a midnight before I know it. But I did stay up and watch the double overtime with the Tampa Bay Islanders game. Anybody's teams still going in the NHL? Oh, there we go. Error occurred on the YouTube channel. I'm just going to refresh it and see what happens. Okay, so that being said, if there's an error on the YouTube channel, just refresh it. Case closed. Case closed. Shell says, thanks, bud. Nice hanging out. Play the drums. Yes, everyone play the drums. Everyone play the drums. If I'm ever like a billionaire and you want drums, just hit me up. Just tweet at me. And then I'll have a website together and you can just order free drums. That's what I would do. That's what I'm putting into the universe right now. Because I know my parents were afraid when drum kit showed up at the house. And I want every parent to know what that feels like, to have a drum kit show up at their house. There'll be no age restrictions. You could be 1 year old and you could order drums for your house if you know how to use the internet, or your guardians give you a tablet and you accidentally smash in the right information to get a free drum kit. You could be young. That's all I'm saying. You could be a child and you could get free drums for your house. That's what I would do if I had the money. Jeremy said, I'm going to go play with Kit for 20 minutes. Thank you for the push. You're welcome, Jeremy. You're welcome, and my pleasure. All right, I'm going to get going. I'm going to try to finish a couple things here before I head off to bed. Anyways, thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. It's fun having everyone in the chat here. You definitely got some usual suspects now, which is nice. Actually, Michelle's saying you're still the girl. Nandi, she's awesome. Yeah, I think she did the drum off with Dave Grohl recently. If that's who you're talking about, yes, she rips. She's awesome. Yes, so thanks for hanging out. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe to the page. We could be moving over there in the near future. It depends on what's going on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, maybe just share this with some of your friends. Maybe have them join in on Sunday. Sunday's at 6 with Dane. Could be good. Kelly's saying I tried playing drums once. You just play drums. It's just, you can kind of do anything on drums. I think my lovely wife actually wishes I had left the house more so she could play drums. I don't think she wants to play the drums when I'm here. So, just saying. All right, that's my time tonight. They're showing me this side stage right now. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your evening. And remember, Danes, Sundays at 6, bracket-ish. And I might be on tomorrow night, streaming some gaming stuff. There's a couple things up in the air right now. If I am, usually around 8 or 9. Tailing for Gaming on Facebook if you want to follow that as well. All right. No, this is a very Canadian goodbye, where it's like 15 minutes of saying you're leaving. All right. Night, everybody. Talk to you later.